a landscape architect in Seattle. Our daughter has been there since she went to school in the 90s at UW. And she got involved in landscape design efforts with developments to capture water as a part of the design. And in Seattle, slowing down the water is the first important factor to, so for many years they were using large underground tanks. You would walk to a park, and underneath the park would be a huge tank. Nobody would see it, but it would drain in there, slow the water down, and then it would gradually release it into the harbor. But about 10 years ago, it became clear that wasn't helping with the pollution. That was slowing the water down, but it wasn't cleaning it. And so she got involved with projects that involved designs to clean rainwater as a part of the project. So that means for public projects like schools and parks, there'll be areas where water will be captured in swales, which are lined with vegetation that works to clean the water as the water flows through that property. And then the objective of the swale is to be long enough and big enough so that when the water goes from one end to the other, it's clean enough to enter the harbor. And so she specialized in that, and then that led to her interest in green rooftops.
Oh, I see.
So in Seattle, many of the buildings now have replaced their flat roofs with green roofs, and for the same purpose. It not only slows the water down when it rains, but it captures it, and in many of those buildings, they're reusing the water for cooling, for example, or at least if they're not using it in the building, by the time it leaves, it's clean enough to enter the harbor. And that's the type of work that's been going on everywhere. In Seattle also is the home of the Bullitt Foundation. The Bullitt Foundation is a very large, well-endowed foundation that had a particular interest in helping to support what's called the Living Building Challenge. And the Living Building Challenge is a movement amongst professionals, architects and engineers, to design a building to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient with energy, self-sufficient with cooling and rainwater. And so the first building to be certified worldwide as a living building project is the Bullitt Center now. So the Bullitt Foundation built this building on the hill above downtown Seattle, and my daughter was involved with the project. So she was involved with the rain capture in the building itself. All the rain is captured. The building is designed to be on its own, not on the city's water system. And so the city wouldn't give them a permit unless they installed a water main connection to the building, and they have to continue to use the water main.
With the city of Santa Monica by any chance?
No, I don't know.
They're very conscious of that.
Yeah, sure. But the plan is this building will eventually disconnect from the water main, and so all the sewer and the water processing is done on site, and then excess water is sent down to recharge the aquifer below the building. And so she's been involved with all of that. And now Seattle has 3 living building structures. They're still the only city in the U.S. that has met the Living Building Challenge, and she's worked on all 3 of them. She's now moved to a different firm, but at this other firm, she's involved with 2 of these projects. And one of them I just sent you the note had to do with Seattle has natural waterways where coho salmon for centuries have been, swimming up, spawning, and then
we saw that.
Well, so she's working now with a living building there that is located near an area in the Aurora Bridge in Fremont. If you know Seattle, is a heavily trafficked area, and it has terrible stormwater runoff. Not only is there a lot, but it is very polluted from automobiles, rubber tires, debris and toxins that flow, oil and other things that flow. This building happened to be built in an area where they could collect the stormwater, and now the building is going to have not only swales but larger designs that were meant to capture heavy flows and clean it before it enters into the native streams just below it where the Coho-Salmon are. And the Coho-Salmon juveniles have been dying in excess of 90%.
Oh, really?
And they believe this design will help restore the population of Coho-Salmon in Seattle. And so it's just an example of how it extended. So this living building gave them an opportunity to look at a way to engineer that. And that's without building any water treatment plants. All of this happens with native plants on the rooftops and in the swales. There's no water treatment necessary to meet the clean water standards, in the harbor. And that's, so anyway, so she's been heavily involved. So she moved to a new firm now where she's the principal landscape architect.
Oh, I see.
And they've been winning awards, and so we're real proud of her. But
Yeah, sounds like, yeah.
but every time I hear her talk about a project, I go, I can imagine places in Los Angeles with the terrible pollution we have off the coast.
She should talk to the Santa Monica actually.
Yeah. Well, and they do have projects up and down the western United States, but mostly their projects are focused in Seattle. Yep.
I see.
But we're talking about having her come down and give a talk and
Oh, that would be interesting.
show something about her projects.
Yeah.